And welcome to the 2026 Thunderbird Cup Men's Plate Final between Iowa and Minnesota. My name is Lance Kavanaugh. I am joined in the booths by the voice, Tim Wilkes. And Tim, this is going to be a very exciting game.
Yeah, both of these squads came away with victories yesterday. Iowa 37-33 over Michigan, and for Minnesota 35-34 over Carfu. Take our first look here at the Iowa squad. Boylan, Bales, and Ivan across the front row. Mumm and Morrow, the two second rowers. Prusner and English, your flankers, and along with Gabe Kettering, they're running that number 8 spot. On the back line for the Iowa men, it's Aiden Lewis and Justin Johnson running the show from that 9-10 combination. On the outsides, it's Sunday along with Powley, and the center combinations, Baea and Gwynn. Heismer running the fullback position. We are just about ready. Lance, it's been a tremendous weekend so far. And the Minnesota men, again, a 35-34 victory, one of the tightest we've had all weekend. Coming into this one, Hernandez, Griman, and Saig there across the front row. Hlavka and Maki in the second row in the engine room. And then you've got Neaton and Martin along with Lapunga running the show from that number 8 spot. On the back end, scrum half, Carter Bielman and Noah Hillman running that 9-10 combination. Ramirez along with Vitek on the outsides. Bukowski and Matye there in the centers, along with Neymar McCory on the back end.
As we see, both teams have taken the field. Minnesota in the purple, and such a strong color, the way that they play, the way they showcase themselves this weekend. I have to ask Tim, with a game like this, plate final, what are we seeking to expect in this matchup? Both teams definitely want to showcase for themselves.
Well, again, both these squads put up over 35 points yesterday, so you expect to see the offense really get ratcheted up here. They got that game underneath their belts, and putting up that many points, in just about your first time really playing together, building that continuity. I expect to maybe see the exact same thing because, again, defense was a little lacking yesterday. They both gave up 30 points. So I definitely expect to see another high-scoring affair between these two squads. Minnesota has been incredible throughout the weekend, putting together all different teams. Already a few champions to be crowned. U23 Women's Cup is Ohio Rugby Union. Allegheny won the U23 Men's Cup Championship, and the Women's Plate went to Minnesota. So good to see, at least across the board, most of these rugby unions getting different representation and hopefully bringing home a little bit of hardware to each one of them.
And we'll have Iowa in the blue going from your right to left. Minnesota in the purple, we're going from your left to right. And one thing you got to love about these scenarios is, you get a referee with some experience in the center holding down the whistle. You're going to be able to hear his mic throughout this match. Let's take emphasis on his control, the way he coordinates. Phil Winkler will be our center referee, going through his final checks. And as we set up here for the kickoff, this is your plate final. Both teams definitely roaring to go. As now we get to our final counts. Referee has given his indications. The watch is on. And Thunderbird Cup 2026 Men's Plate Final is underway. High booming kick caught inside of the 22. Stutter step and a stop just to set some things up. And now the men in purple unable to cleanly gather the hands. And that is not the start you want, as you can hear Iowa showing a little bit of energy after that knock on Tim.
Yeah, now what you're looking for, DJ Martin already holding his head down a little bit. Got to make sure, keep that spirit up. Can't have things going awry so quickly there. And boy, have they really given a gift here for the Iowa men inside the 22 for their first touch of the match.
First scrum is down, well controlled.
Stay on,
Iowa
stay on.
Using the foot to bring it back. Aiden Lewis setting up, spacing out, gets the ball, and now we're moving it to the edge here. And just having an overload on that side, right foot step, going against the grain, a chance to go in, and they're inside the 5-meter line. We might have our first points within the first 2 minutes as the pick and go is held up strong right near the try line. That might be caught as held up. A try awarded for Iowa, and we'll give you an opportunity to tell you who scored that try. But what a great early bit of play, capitalizing on that mistake from Minnesota.
Yeah, just sheer tenacity, pounding away time and time again. And eventually the pick and go went to hand, and they were able to take it across. Good use of hands to find some space on the far side. In through the fullback Heimer. Brought it in close. See if we can see who had the final run here on the outside. They push it forward, get themselves close. Then on the outside, they're able to pick it across, take it over. And good work from our referee, Winkler, right there on the spot to award the first try of the match.
And you gotta love when a winger takes that right foot step, goes against the grain, 4 defenders left in the dust, and he gets the offload away and right on the precipice of a try, and they're able to put one over. And that's got to bode well for their early confidence here in this play final, Tim.
For sure, seeing one go through quickly will definitely get you juiced up. Saw the knock on, and then the huge response there is Minnesota licking their wounds, already down by 7.
And Isaac Bales will be awarded that try. And that is not a small man. How do you stop him so close to the try line? You keep him from getting those opportunities as Iowa converts 1 of 1 inside of the 22. And now Minnesota with just an early mistake. It's not like they made a series of mistakes, just an early knock on, giving Iowa an opportunity. And they converted it, as well as the conversion 7-0. As now we set up again as Carter Billman puts it up in the air. And we're back into the action. High kick, highly contested, but Iowa able to keep presence of the ball. The try score, second touch of the ball, runs into a brick wall, but able to get the offload away. Bobbled just a bit, but still held. As now Iowa has to play wide.
No hands, Gray, no!
Need to push Iowa back. 1 phase, 2 phase, going backwards. That left foot step and another.
Jumped.
Tried to hop over. Referee is going to say play on.
Backwards.
But Mukery almost getting through, Hilmer almost getting through, as now Iowa sets themselves up. Kick going deep to the middle of the field. Options either way. That ball is gathered cleanly by Neymar. Neymar reversing field. The sign going more to the open side. And now Minnesota has an opportunity to get to the edge, but absolutely shouldered as English put some power into that tackle.
Release 2.
Big collision from Minnesota, running those forward pods into a double tackle. You gotta love how the physicality is gonna set the tone throughout this match. Ball played out of the back, and now we might have space on the edge. Inside out move. Could it get him loose? It does not. It gets him flung out of the out on the touchline. And it looks like Ramirez was going to find some space on that edge, but stopped by his opposite. Now we'll have our first line out here in this match.
Diego Ramirez of the Rochester Rogues thought he had a little bit of space out there, but just needed to make that inside step back into the field to play a little bit quicker, a little risky, and now it's another turnover back to Iowa.
Referee says play on that throw in, and now Iowa set it up again, this time past the 50-meter line, and a cutting line with a perfect offload. Iowa is figuring it out, running support lines in close succession. That pass a little errant, and Minnesota might have an opportunity to get this ball playing on the ground, says the referee, as Minnesota gets an absolute defensive stand. It looks like they were broken, but able to reorganize, and Billman will put this ball out of bounds. And what a great bit of attacking play from Iowa, but even better defense from Minnesota getting the ball back
this side of half, thank you.
And a strong kick sends it on the other half of the pitch. Great work for the Minnesota men to kind of get things back into a workable position. Here off the line out, we'll see what they can do with their first one of the day.
As this lineout is being set up, ball played not straight will probably be the call here, and it is.
Shoulder, gentlemen.
So now Iowa will have those options, re-line out or a scrum on the 15.
Line out elected. All the way
They
outside
choose
shoulder,
to go to the line out. As now Iowa begins to set themselves up
You also close
for
your
a
own
great
tunnel
attacking
before
moment.
the game.
50-22
Maintain the gap.
is unlocked here, Tim.
Yeah, we haven't really been able to see who's going to do a majority of the kick-in. Probably that fly half, Noah Hillman out of Metropolis. That's on the Minnesota side. For Iowa, we'll see if Justin Johnson gets it going with the boot.
Strong crash run as they have their forwards integrated with the back line. Ketterman able to push him forward. Recycling of the ball gives Iowa right around the 5-meter line. That means the defensive line is going to press heavy as the ball gets played back in field. And look at the way that Iowa keeps in close succession. They are supporting all of these rucks. It is not easy sledding trying to force a turnover. That ball tried to make a skip pass, but unfortunately skipped it to the opposite field, and that ball is being played quick. Referee says play on.
You ran into him.
And a kick is made. Referee says no infringement, no issues. As now Iowa is being backed up. They have a chance to go. There's space everywhere. One hand on the ball, one hand with the flip, and now Iowa's back out and running again. Settle right outside their 22. And look at the connection that Iowa has. Continuing to keep close. Space here on the bottom on the screen.
Timing's good.
They still have the advantage for the high tackle. So it's almost a free play scenario for Iowa, and they'll take it.
Number 8, too high.
So now we'll have our first foul play of the match.
Number 8, great.
That was Sam
high.
Bapunga. A little bit of a high tackle there as Iowa just trying to find some way to get out of their own end. And that penalty is the exact relief they need to flip it back and get into an attacking position. For Minnesota, I've liked the defense. I've liked what they've been able to do so far. And for Iowa, keep an eye out for Fine Vaea. He was the one that had the line break and got him down closer just a few minutes ago. An outstanding athlete to keep an eye on, number 12.
Set it up. Try score, puts the ball up, tipped up at the top by Tyler Moreau, and now we are off and running. Iowa running layers out in the back, and that opens up space around this touchline. Can they find it back inside? Look at the connection from Iowa, and with the space and speed, Iowa goes in to score. Drew Grin goes in, and just like that, Iowa adds to their already established lead here.
We talked about Justin Johnson maybe kicking it around the pitch, but boy, the use of hands has been tremendous. Here to the outside, you see Gwynn with it, flips it out, but he stays in the play, keeps there in support, hits the brakes, get back on sides, and then hits the Jets one final time for Drew Gwynn to take it the distance. Again, shout out there to Lucas Pauley running that 1-2 combination on the outside from his wing spot. Had the perfect pass to open it up on the inside and give Iowa 2 tries in the first 10 minutes.
And that attack seemed almost spring-loaded, playing that layers, runners going through, just a little bit of deception. They didn't rush to attack straight up, but instead moved the ball to the space, and once it was unlocked on that 15-meter channel, almost like shot out of a gun. Absolute speed, and the pace is just too much for Minnesota to compensate, as now they've given up two tries in the first 10 minutes of the game. And that man right there, who's been leading from the front, Carter Billman, doing so much work over this weekend, is going to have to find a way to settle his crew down and get them back to their established way of attack. Now we're set for the kickoff.
Minnesota put up 35 points yesterday, so they've got a potent offense. But right now, Iowa is just holding onto the ball with great extent.
An absolute loose goose off the left. He had a chance if it was thrown just a bit earlier.
Are they coming?
But what an amazing line break there. You see the speed of Iowa, and this is the first time their connection might have let them down here.
Yeah, off the restart. Usually don't want to let that one hit, but you see this hard step back out to the outside, opens things up. Great speed out there, and a beautiful one. That's the try scorer, Gwynn. He wants more. Offload just wasn't there. Fullback Heimer a little too far in front. Need a little better communication to extend that. Would have been close to an easy try.
Yeah, Minnesota has to find a way to use that as a warning. That line break does not bode well to their defensive chances as this match goes on. Going with the 8-man pick. As Lepunga finds space, and with the first pass, they're out and running. Offload, unfortunately, going to the wrong team. As we've seen Hunter having a real shot to break the line and do things, but Iowa choosing to kick the ball back, playing territorial. And the man himself, Billman, tries to slide through, tries to move through, but unfortunately takes a shoulder and is down. Referee says play on. And in an attempt to really keep control of the ball, Minnesota is going to go with his pick and go. Not rolling away penalty here, so they have a free play. How would they make the most of it? Kick not extremely accurate, but they still have a second shot here with the penalty of not rolling away.
Yeah, Billman had the free play that time, decided to go with the kick pass to try and find a little bit of space out there.
Lost their footing. There's nothing to do about it.
Had the advantage on, so gets to come back with it. Take another stab at it, try and put this one out into touch and progress them down the pitch. First time we've really seen them get into enemy territory. And they're going to have this one inside the 22-meter line. Great kick from Billman to set up the attack.
And you see the boot from Billman might be a feature if Iowa continues to make those kind of mistakes. Not rolling away. That penalty has really been enforced very heavily over the last 5 years. Trying to get a running style of rugby, a looser, more open style of rugby. Got to clear those rucks. A lot of rules to protect the scrum half. And hopefully Minnesota can make the most of their opportunity here. Walking into the line out. Looks like they're going to a back pop, but that is not accurate. And they're going to play on from the not straight since Iowa has possession of the ball. Choosing to go to the pod, and big collisions happening. These forward packs are definitely being very assertive in these tackles. And they choose the kick, play backwards, caught on the full. And now Neymar has his hands on the ball. He is ever so dangerous. Takes a step and loses his footing. Sniper is on the field, and that ball might be a bit forward. Let's see what the referee says. Play on, as now Iowa gets the ball back. The dynamic runner and Neymar unable to keep his footing, and now Iowa able to advance easily 40 meters from the heels of their own try line, and now get a chance to attack. There's space on the bottom of your screen here, ladies and gentlemen, but closed off on the back end by Minnesota. Great job by Jacob Frick to keep this Iowa defense from really turning the corner here as they choose to collide and boom in the middle of the field against this Minnesota side. Ball played out wide. The space is occupied, but unable to bring the ball carrier down on first hit, but still able to get the ball back later on. And now with that, we're reaching into the pocket. Cynical penalty and yellow card. And it's not a good way for Iowa to proceed further with this lead, having to take a 10-minute break for absolutely no real reason. And now Minnesota is going to get an opportunity to kick off that right boot of Billman.
You had the lead, the 12-point lead, and now the penalty. Playing with a man down here for the next 10 minutes. We'll take another look. Sunday has it on the outside and was the one that got hit with the penalty. As you see Iowa bringing it up close. Billman did a great job getting on top of it, secures possession. And then you see here, this is what we're talking about. He just takes it, throws it away. Easy call for the referee, and Sunday will have an extended break on the bench.
Ball played into the line out. Opting to go to the maul, does Minnesota. Still able to preserve ball. There's some digging and reaching by Billman to get that out. Now Minnesota's on the front attack. 3 defenders forced into the tackle situation as the ball pops out. Minnesota is forced to play it quickly, and that might end up being a turnover, passing it to get it to the space in a rush scenario. But there goes a penalty, playing the ball on the ground. The player on the ground has to establish his feet before going after the ball. And immediately what could have been a great scenario and situation turns into a turnover, escalates even further to a penalty. No, I said right boot earlier. The left boot of Billman pushing the ball down the field. Now we'll have a lineout from Minnesota.
That's exactly what Minnesota needed. They're now in attacking territory inside the 22-meter line. Good work again from Bielman. That's their easiest way to progress their way down the pitch off these penalties. If you're Iowa, you already got a man in the bend. More penalties coming your way. You've got to get things collected and play a little bit cleaner rugby from here on out.
But unable to secure that line out puts even more pressure on his Minnesota side. Kicking and retreating is Justin Johnson. He's able to put the ball off the park and try to eliminate the quick throw. Whoa. Just too much air time. Now the ball is back in action, back recycled. An opportunity for the steal, and that ball is taken as now Iowa gets a chance to attack back here. Choosing to go to the kick. There's no one home. If only they can get there. There's charging players, but unable to gather on the storm. And what could have been a great opportunity for Iowa, great heads-up moment while being down a player, turns just into another scrum for Minnesota, but a great way for them to flip the field. An intuitive play there to go to the kick.
That's Vallejo with the kick. He takes the quick tap. He had the poach as well. Picks up the ball and tries to surge his team forward. Beautiful speed on the outside. Just snuck up on that final defender. Couldn't hang on to it, though. Great effort from Iowa. A man down. They'll manufacture all sorts of different ways to march their way down the pitch. They've got pressure on him again.
Bye!
And Minnesota's going to have to find a way to tighten up and perfect some of their ball handling issues. Iowa has definitely shown they will capitalize if there's any mistake. We have a long arm penalty. What would have been a knock-on out of bounds turns into a scrum penalty. And now the left foot of Billman is going to get some space here. And Minnesota is doing everything possible to not allow Iowa to extend this lead here.
I was just letting Minnesota hang around in this match. Again, they put up 35 yesterday. You can't let a team with this prowess just hang around and stay close within 2 tries. They need to go for the dagger and try and get a little bit more distance from them. With that one-man advantage, Minnesota just trying to play good tactical rugby. Now they've got possession. See if they can hang on to it and march their way down.
Ball played from the top of the line out. Takes an awkward bounce and goes right into touch. So Iowa, on the side of good fortune now, has an opportunity for their own line out to put the throw through. See if they can create magic for themselves as they're trying to tick down the clock here for this yellow card.
Shows just how critical the set pieces are. You've got to be able to have those in your back pocket.
And almost immediately, Iowa drops the ball, but no intention to kill it. Gives Minnesota an opportunity to play on the front foot. One spin move and a big shoulder. Minnesota's inside the 22. Has to stay in bounds here as Iowa players try desperately to pull him into touch. The counter ruck is absolutely magical, and the between the legs pass by Billman is absolutely magical. Straight to hand, as now he tries to go pick and go. Able to get the ball away. Ball backwards, tip backwards twice, and now Iowa's on the return. This is a frantic bit of rugby. Does he have the legs? He does not. Winger wins the race. Plays it back. Iowa is able to keep possession. Ball release and grabbed again as the try scorer tries to carry multiple defenders into the try zone. Iowa now on the front foot just outside the 5-meter line. This could be a great opportunity for Iowa to extend their lead. Turn calamity into absolute triumph as a knock-on turns into reverse field, and another tackle for Minnesota. Desperate defense, and there's so much space on the top of your screen. A shooting defender is able to make the tackle. The ball carrier is holding his face. There may have been head contact, as now Minnesota chooses to slow it down. Now Billman plays the ball out. Iowa's defense set and settled, accommodating the space. We have trainers on the field. So much has happened in these last 45 seconds This is an announcer's dream, as now the boot puts the ball on the far side of the field. Not a 50-22, but definitely a reverse of fortune, as now we'll finally have an opportunity to stop the clock for the down player. And what a crazy bit of play. I gotta say, I love rugby when it's moments like this.
Time is off. We have 2 head injuries.
Yeah, they look to be down and out, just fighting for it, trying to not give up the third try of the match. And here's the contact, a little bit of a forearm maybe to the face. He kind of dipped down for it as well. I don't know if there was full regard. And again, it initially looked like he was low enough there, Lance. As contact was made, it might have gone up a little slightly. Took the worst of it on the deck. That's Renheimer out of the Iowa Hawkeyes. But you mentioned it. That's exactly what Minnesota needed after the kick was made. You saw Seth Jones, the coach from the Red River Ruffians for Minnesota. He was ecstatic about getting the pitch flipped. We'll see if they can put some base to it. They're still down by 12, but we've seen a lot better fight out of Minnesota the last 10 minutes.
We have time off. Let's do a water break here anyway. It's 20 minutes in. Let's take a second, but I'm very concerned, and I'm 95% sure he's not coming back.
I agree.
Based on what I saw on the field.
I agree.
I get that he's okay now, but that was 5 minutes ago.
Where's Whitey? Let's just have some table talk. You want a can in this?
I want to allow the referee to have this conversation. This is great insight for what happened. It looks like we're going to go to a water break here as well.
Yeah, we're at 19 counting down, so we'll use this as our water break. I saw we had 2 head injuries, one on your team, one on their team, and we had a big clearance, so I'm thinking both these players are done, yeah.
I think he's good. Into me?
Yeah.
And with both teams having an opportunity to take a break,
he's over there now.
we'll be right back here at the Thunderbird Cup.
When the tackle started off good,
Yeah.
and then as the ball was away, it looked like almost a purple hand cop. It almost looked like
Yeah. I had rap on ball, and then they both lost their footing.
Yeah.
And then on his way down, something came up.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments.
Just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends, it's definitely.
Nah, one word is family. Like, you got people like you could depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like giving my all on the field. And
we all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good and talk to laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby's done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet like you know how the hood is, so you know like it's crazy, like around shooters and all that stuff. So it's just keeping me out from there, and then changing from like me got to worry about, I can't walk here, instead of just changing my life and being positive and don't need to worry about anything that much.
I think people really underestimate.
And welcome back to the Thunderbird Cup. Line out for Iowa after a crazy back and forth bit of play and a water break. Both teams able to get a drink. Both teams able to recharge, have a conversation. And we should see some high-flying rugby for the remaining 20 minutes of this first half as Iowa holds the initiative, still has a yellow card in the bin, but their continuity and connection seems to be leading the charge as they have a winger out. Substitution made after the player takes a hit to the face earlier, unintentional, and now Minnesota continue to grind defensively, able to push the substitute out of play. We'll have a line out for Minnesota here.
It was Jacob Fitek, number 14, the winger out here. Did a great job corralling him, taking him over the line, gets the turnover ball back to Minnesota. They've really shown a lot of heart in this one. They're holding on strong. A couple of times it looked like Iowa might be able to open this one up. Gotta love the fight that we've seen from the boys in purple.
Iowa able to get ball back in hand. Backwards says the referee as the ball hits the ground. And again, Iowa able to resource the ruck, keeping possession. Happens to be key. Going to that right foot, not a 50-22, but a mark card as the ball is caught cleanly inside the 22. Let's see what option they go with. Going right off the pitch allows you an opportunity to clear your space. You have time to make the proper kick.
I'm not your coach.
Yeah, just a free kick here with it. I think he was maybe asking the referee exactly what his options were. Good work from him.
Again, Minnesota choosing to go right into the heart of this Iowa side. Players on the bottom part of your screen, on the left side of your screen. Inside step and an offload. And now we might have just a little break, but that is forward out the hands and knocked on and played on the ground. But no wrap on the tackle, so Billman will take it forward. Right foot step to get space and takes a big shot on the kick. Oh, this is fun. Mike, can you hear us? Yeah.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments.
Just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends, it's definitely.
Nah, one word is family. Like, you got people like you could depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like giving my all on the field.
We all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good and talk to laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby's done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet like you know how the hood is, so you know like it's crazy, like around shooters and all that stuff. So it's just keeping me out from there, and then changing from like me got to worry about, oh I can't walk here, instead of just changing my life and being positive and don't need to worry about anything that much.
I think people really underestimate women in sports. Like in my school, rugby, especially the girls' rugby, is really strong, and I don't think a lot of people expect that that women can have the sort of strength or like sort of drive that men can have in sports. And I mean, you can see today, like, it's pretty much even. Women want to, you know, have an outlet for physical contact or something to blow off steam just as much as men do. And they're just as physical, and we're just as, I guess, you can say aggressive as men can be, and we can be just as successful on the rugby field. So I think it just helped me learn that whatever a man can do, I can do it. It's no worries. I can do exactly what they can do. Yeah.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use me, use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me, use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard, in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Movements for peace when all seems lost. Together, I do believe it is part of the American mission to ensure that people everywhere, women and men alike, finally have the opportunity to live up to their own God-given potential.
It's huge. There's limitations. There's been greater limitations before my involvement, which has stopped some athletes from being able to chase their dreams and having to go and fulfill a 9-to-5 job just to live, really.
And welcome back. Sorry for the delay, but we are back here to watch Iowa and Minnesota battle it out here at Lamont, Illinois, Chicago Blaze Complex. As we're right around the 30-minute mark in this matchup, we'll give you updates when everything is settled. But Iowa putting in the try. Conversion is good. We are sitting at a 19-0 matchup as Iowa continues to expand the lead that they created for themselves. And you got to wonder what Minnesota can do in order to fight back, scoring points, but giving away an immediate try to this Iowa side in rapid succession.
Yeah, and the big thing with that is I believe the yellow card is off the board. We saw number 11, Jacob Sund, back in the match. And so that was their biggest and best opportunity to play with the extra man, but they could not extend the lead. Instead, it gets further apart.
Iowa charge and run, taking defenders on a journey with them. Choosing to play tackling, kicking it to the open side, which sometimes can be seen as dangerous, but that ball matriculates off of the pitch. And with about 10 minutes left in this first half, Iowa finds himself in a very great situation, now having to play defense right around center field line.
Yeah, Jacob Fitek tried to keep that one inbounds best he could. Number 14 there for Minnesota. But just a lot of pace on that kick, trickles all the way out into touch. This is where we need to see a spark from Minnesota. They've got to find some continuity and find a way to push their way in for number 2.
Lying out is clean and choosing to go to the maul. No engagement, so pops it back out and running straight into some carnage. Continuing to push forward. As Lapunga, as now Minnesota continues to go back into the direction they're coming. One tackle break there, another one broken as Iowa players try to cut the passing line, but unable to make the play, and high tackle just outside the 5-meter line. The forward momentum from Minnesota might be ample, and we're looking for another situation where we might be looking for a penalty here. Looking for a card here, excuse me.
You know, 2 high tackles back to back. Okay. I have to blow this one, and you have to tackle lower. Next high tackle goes. Take a minute. You have an option of a penalty.
Back-to-back high tackles, so they've got a choice of which one they want to go for. And Beelman, what do you think here, Lance? Maybe going for a touch for the lineout, but he's going to go straight into the teeth of the defense.
Yeah, they found some forward momentum, and it looks like they plan on continuing. Running crash lines right into the teeth of this Iowa side. Big skip in open space, and does he have the legs to finish? He does. Right foot step. Another. And what a silky smooth way to get points for this Minnesota side. Jake and Frick able to juke multiple defenders. He had a chance to go right into the corner and put it down early, but instead decides to put on a tap dancing show on multiple inside chasing defenders. Minnesota gets these points.
Yeah, the head coach, Seth Jones, also with the Red River Ruffians, has to be ecstatic that time as Jacob Fitek, his own winger, able to bring that one all the way through as he did a fantastic job getting around the edge, and you called it live there. A couple of hard steps with the right foot, cutting back inside. Nobody could touch him, and that is the response that Minnesota needed. They saw that lead grow to 3 tries, but a terrific response to cut back into it and keep it close with 7 minutes left.
Conversion across the face, no good. But Minnesota has a lot to look forward to. I mean, look at what's happening. The referee is now going to treat the next high tackle as a yellow card service. So now they have a more cautious defense. They've proven that they can get the ball to space. Amazing pass to cut out multiple defenders. And they've got their winger activated. He's feeling good, able to make moves on multiple players. It's a time for Minnesota to try to squeak in points here before the half.
That man Vaea with the second high tackle just didn't get low enough. That shoulder made contact right with the head shoulder area. They've got to bring those down. Can't let Minnesota back in with little mistakes.
Kick fielded cleanly and a dragging advancement as the pick able to get an absolute break here. Ball rolled to the next ball carrier, but ball still in possession, able to play for a great open field tackle. David versus Goliath meetup. David seems to get the job done, and now Beelman able to settle and set in. And it looks like Minnesota has finally found a little bit of what they want their offense to look like. Beelman stretching across, making defenders make decisions, and the line speed of this Iowa defense is able to get a knock on against themselves, but the defensive pressure almost caused issues for Minnesota, but just too much pressure, knocking the ball on themselves, and we'll have a scrum right around the middle line of the field.
I think it was that man in the center of your screen, Isaac Bales, number 2 for Iowa, who was just all over the back of the would-be Minnesota Carriers. Got that one out of there. Great work. Play some tenacious defense. Shove them down a little. Still not out of the woods yet is Minnesota. A better team the last 4 minutes or so. Looking to tack on another one here before halftime.
Beelman having the space. That left foot step, trying to find his opposite sleeping. Tackle made and ball rolled out an unconventional way to keep possession, but Minnesota does so. Now choosing to crash here, but Iowa's pressing too fast, too forward. Everyone's sides, and that bounce just to force the penalty to be called. Beelman using the top 4 inches, and what a move, almost pushing all the way through, and again choosing to roll the ball back, but this time doesn't work out in their favor, as now Iowa having a chance to press back, going to the boot, but opportunistically there is a fullback available, running right into a multitude of Iowa defenders, but still able to drag and claw forward. And now Billman with a second chance to right the wrong from earlier. Let's see how they try to convert and get down the field with less than 4 minutes left here in this half. Again, Laponga charging forward, and that's the sneakiness of Billman, able to force players to out of position and cause half breaks to get soft shoulders and push forward for this Minnesota side, but the ball hits the ground again, and Minnesota finding a bit of momentum, but unable to continue to convert it, as now Iowa will have a chance here with a scrum just around 3 minutes left in this half.
Give it over there.
Yeah, I think that's a second knock on there from DJ Martin from Metropolis. Just couldn't hang on to it. It looked like they might have numbers on the far side of the pitch, but as they're going through the hands, a simple knock on slows down what was a great group of phases there. You see the big number 9. Billman was terrific in that build-up. Shot out like a cannon, as you mentioned it, dribbled it with the knock on, gave himself the penalty. Smart play, but a little too stranded. It's just the small things not coming to fruition for Minnesota.
Ball played out wide as Iowa's going to go right to the space. Minnesota able to play defense to stretch all the way in, but that offload finds a purple hand, and now we have Minnesota out in front on the chase. Defender not rolling away, so no chance for the steal. And flat pass played out to get the ball to the center of the pitch. Amazing tackle, not easy to bring down Lavka in the open field, but Iowa finds a way to do so. And what an opportunity to steal, unable to grab hold of the ball, as now Minnesota playing with the forwards. Soft hands by the forwards, almost created the space to get further down the field, but just can't gather it cleanly. And that's something we've seen for this Minnesota side continuous throughout this first half.
Iowa team giving everything they have, leaving fluids on the field. 2 minutes to try and fight. They've done a great job in the first half, Lance. They built that lead. But I would definitely say here in the last 6 or 7 minutes, it has been Minnesota with more time of possession, a couple of longer carries, and really looking like the more threatening team here. Again, they did put up 35 yesterday, so they've got it under their belt. Just need to find a couple of more opportunities to do so.
As Iowa gets the ball cleanly from the scrum, and they might have another break here, and the speed injected after they find open space, unable to outrun everyone. And the man with the yellow card now, Sunday, is able to cut through and give Minnesota issue. Ball played out to the edge, winger to winger. Howley able to stay in bounds. Minnesota trying desperately to pull into touch. And look at the line speed and approach by this Minnesota side, catching Iowa flat-footed, choosing to go weak. They might have space here on the bottom edge. Ball lost in the tackle, and what seems like an amazing opportunity to go short side gives Minnesota a chance at the ball again with less than a minute left. So much to be done for Minnesota. Points here would be at an absolute premium.
Cross forward first, then touch.
Shout out to Vitek. Vitek, the number 14 strong side winger out there for Minnesota, fighting for his dear life. Not the biggest guy on the pitch, but his tenacity has been incredible. Came from behind to jar that one loose, earn his team the knock on and the scrum here. Long ways to go. Just got to make sure no mistakes here. Play a nice, clean couple phases of rugby here before the end of the half.
Ball played in the back of the scrum, choosing to go weak, but actually take an opportunity to get into halftime to stop the bleeding as Iowa holds a 24-10 lead over Minnesota. We are here at the Thunderbird Cup. We'll be right back with the second half. Play final.
Anytime that you are ahead of the ball, you are liable for penalties. If you take someone's line, I have to blow it. If you don't, we're fine.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use me, use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me, use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard in the face. Wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Movements for peace when all seems lost. Together, I do believe it is part of the American mission to ensure that people everywhere, women and men alike, finally have the opportunity to live up to their own God-given potential.
It's huge. There's limitations. There's been greater limitations before my involvement, which has stopped some athletes from being able to chase their dreams and having to go and fulfill a 9-to-5 job just to live, really.
So in life, you know, there are moments when you stop and ask yourself, how did I get here? Like, why am I standing here? Girls have the power to change the world. It is a fact. There's a really, really beautiful quote that I read recently, and I think it's absolutely appropriate to explain what I'm trying to say today. The hand that rocks the cradle, the procreator, the mother of tomorrow, a woman shapes the destiny of civilization. Such is the tragic irony of fate that a beautiful creation such as a girl child is today one of the gravest concerns facing humanity.
Most girls are smart and strong and beautiful. Most girls work hard, go far, we are unstoppable. Most girls are fight to make every day. No two are the same. I wanna be like.
So actually, before I started playing rugby, I was just a cheerleader for my high school, and I was very shy, nervous, and being around teammates. Rugby is a very accepting sport. I wasn't embarrassed about my body or anything. People really welcome you and actually like take your strengths and weaknesses and work with you to like make you a better person and player.
You hit each other and then you're friends.
I really like the camaraderie of it, and like the game is just so physical and it's fun.
Definitely try it. Like maybe you don't think you're the strongest, but once you go out and like you hit someone, that adrenaline is so amazing.
Tell me about your experience with RCT so far.
Well, I think my experience can be best described as really fun and community bonding because I meet so many new people playing the sport I love.
I wrestle and I play football, and there's nothing like rugby. You know?
Yeah, everybody that I've ever met that tries rugby just comes to one practice has ended up liking it. And I asked her like,
A 24-10 lead over Minnesota and Temp. So much has happened in this first half. Back and forth battle. Walk us through a bit of what you've seen in this first half.
Yeah, it was a yellow card given early in the first half to Iowa. They had the lead 12-0. Minnesota was able to get back into it a little bit. They've got a couple of tries under their belt. And in the last 10 to 15 minutes of that first half, it was that man right there, Bielman, really starting to get the engine cranking for Minnesota. It looked like the better team for portions of it, but you cannot negate the back line for the Iowa men. They've been tremendous. Drew Gwynn has been outstanding from that outside center spot, and they have really been a force to be reckoned with on the outside.
That ball is played short on the kickoff. Minnesota with an opportunity to steal, but unable to get a hold of the ball. As now Iowa sets themselves up, holding this 14-point lead. They might want to try to push the ball forward to extend it. That ball popping up, and forward pass is the call. As now Minnesota with ample opportunity to cut into this deficit they find themselves in.
That was the big Minnesota lock, Sean Mackey, just slamming into the ball carrier and jarring that one loose, popping it straight up in the air. And that's the tenacity that Minnesota is going to need. They're down by 14. Iowa has looked a little bit more threatening throughout, but I think Minnesota's starting to figure things out, Lance.
Yeah, the way they found themselves in attack, getting positive meterage is something they can lean themselves on as this scrum settles to the back. Ball kick just a little bit. Bielman puts the ball in play. Cutting pass and looping run. Might have the space on the outside, but unable to keep possession. And an errant offload gives Iowa a chance at a foot race. Can he stay in bounds? Referee says he does. Multiple players available. Ball played on the ground, but it just is gathered cleanly. Iowa could go in again, and a big tackle. Big tackle made, and offsides is the call as now Minnesota returns fire. Bielman turns back and scorches with the fin. Put up in the air. If this makes a proper bounce, it could be another opportunity to score, but the ball does not lean in the way of Minnesota. Now Iowa with a line out and back and forth seesaw battle. Whew, I need a second here. What an amazing bit of play back and forth. And that's the second time here in this game, Tim.
Yeah, 50-meter break there for Drew Gwynn, number 13. He scored tries in the first half, and you see him kick on the Jets. He goes a good 60 meters at least, all the way from 22 to 22, but then the pass a little bit off the mark. And then 50 meters back the other way through Bielman. So both teams flexing their muscles early.
Iowa setting themselves up for the line out, choosing to go an attack in the middle field. And the ball is knocked on again. Mistakes by Iowa. Had a chance to extend the lead on that previous break. Ball not making it to hand. And now with a chance to set themselves up, ball unable to be secured cleanly. It's Minnesota again in prime attacking opportunity. It was given this moment with 30 seconds into this second half, and now right around the 3-minute mark, given an almost mirror moment again here, Tim.
Yeah, just 100 meters of action back and forth in between there, but we end up in the exact same spot. You got to give it to Bielman. He has really led this team from the front.
Taking the 8-man pick again. Lupanga is bringing force into those carries, and the first pass from that 8-man pick is a knock-on, and Iowa now back with the ball, back with the scrum, and these handling errors seem to be multiplying over and over and over again for both of these sides. What can they do to clean it up here?
Yeah, I think that's the first time we've seen Hunter Mathieu, number 13, for Minnesota with the knock-on. He had the big break earlier on the near side as well. He has been one of their more consistent runners, but even he coughs one up under this pressure from Iowa. The hard hitting that Iowa's done has been good for Minnesota. You just got to keep that ball a little bit longer. They're right there knocking on the door.
Ball played out and still running that layer attack. Looping run by the 10. And look at the tenacious defense from Minnesota, unallowing that offload. Long arm penalty for not rolling away. And now Iowa with the opportunity to go quick. Choosing to slow it down. They're going to set themselves up for a line out here. Intelligent, tactical play. As Justin Johnson puts the boot to the ball. And we'll have a line out just past the 50-meter line.
Yeah, that was DJ Martin for Minnesota. Number 7 just couldn't get out of there quick enough. And it looked like they may have a chance to push forward. Just like that, Iowa flipped the pitch, and now they're on the front foot. Strong work from Iowa time and time again. Bales will look to toss this one back in and get the boys in blue rumbling forward here for really the first time in the second half they've had extended bases.
Line out heavily contested, but straight says the referee, back to the thrower. And now with a new scrum half, we'll see if the tempo for this Iowa side changes just a bit as Minnesota continues to bring force into every tackle. Played it out back, that space opened up, and Shooter on the edge gives a running start to Iowa's flanker as he now charges down that 5-meter channel. Ruck formed and established, and you gotta love the way that English was able to eat up that space. And now Iowa continues to crash forward. That ball played on the offload, but unable to be gathered cleanly as Gabe Arredondo could not bring the ball in for himself. Just the new scrum half finds itself near and dear to the action, but unable to grasp the ball cleanly as Minnesota, deep in their own end, has to play the tactical game here. They have a scrum down.
Yeah, that's, again, a little glimpse into what Iowa can do. They had space, a beautiful skip pass right down this next level rugby camera angle. And again, Zach English on the outside out of Iowa State was right there with it. They just couldn't hang on to possession, and they cough it back up. But Lance, I mean, that's 3 or 4 knock-ons here for Iowa in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, just can't keep clean handle on the ball. Minnesota still find themselves deep in their own end. That crashing line and an absolute beauty of a pass, left-handed by Billman, skips a few of those Iowa players and gives the ball to his forward pack. As now they're still stuck inside their own 22. And Iowa's pressing up defensively. So much space on the right side of your screen here. Let's see if they choose to go there. They choose to go to the boot, pushing the ball down the field. Players close to colliding. I'm so glad that they didn't. As now we have Iowa charging forward. Almost pushed out of bounds, but able to make a Sonny Bill backflipping pass to keep it available. And look at the charging run. Iowa's bringing it all together. Skip pass all the way out. One-handed catch, and Iowa putting everything on display as Caitlin Johnson finishes a try with multiple players, including Jacob Sunday, able to set this up. And Iowa extends this already strong lead that they have.
End-to-end stuff here, just saving this one, flip it back in through Justin Johnson, and now the charge is on. Look at that line, coming in, hitting it hard from Jacob Sunday, and then he has the wherewithal to spot the pass. The hand went up from Kylan Johnson from the other angle. He was calling for it, and he delivered the try on the outside. Great work from Iowa. We saw them strike that way a couple of times. They bring in a couple substitutions, and the same result happens again. Another end-to-end try for Iowa.
Conversion set up, and you just got to love the way Iowa responds. Ball played to him. Looks like it could have been disaster. Found themselves on the edge, almost getting pushed in the touch, keeping the ball in play. And this Minnesota side not closing the space on the open side, giving Iowa the initiative to go forward. And once they were off and running, there was no slowing them down there.
You got to give a shout out to the guys saving that one on the far side. I did mention Justin Johnson, but there was other players out there that looked for sure like they were going to be driven out into touch. Somehow they get it out, and here we are 45 seconds later. They turn in another try to extend the lead. Minnesota had the response. Looked like they might be able to creep back into this one. But again, Iowa flex the muscles yet again with that outside back line. And they push forward to go up by 19. Not fully out of the woods yet. They've got to keep that pressure on. Minnesota licking their wounds. They're going to need a response quickly to get back into this match and not let Iowa fully step out of it.
Do you have all these? Handy? I'm checking my number for you. We're good, thank you. Subs complete, time is on.
Little bit of organization needed from the referee as now the ball is kicked off and we are back into the action. High looping kick, able to be corralled cleanly right outside the 22. Defensive line from Minnesota set and ready. They press up and cutting tackle. You got to bring some of these Iowa players down with speed, and getting low is a big part of it, but another handling error as John Ivan unable to keep clean hands on the ball. Settle down seems to be the directive from few of the players. Iowa seems not to be worried as now they set up for this scrum down.
Yeah, Minnesota kind of shot forward on that one. It looked like an errant shoot as he kind of went inside. The pass went by him, but it was just enough to get into the passing lane, disrupt things, and force the knock-on from Ivan.
Billman settles into the scrum. Ball played to the open side. Looks like Iowa has more numbers defensively, so a cut up is the best option. Choosing to go weak with no one around, isolation. And it looks like Iowa's defense able to hold. Unfortunately, Minnesota running into where they have a negative approach. More defenders than attackers. This Iowa side making the most of what's going on, getting the ball back.
Not going to find touch, though.
Now Minnesota able to return fire after that ball cannot get off the pitch. Tackle is called by the referee. And now Minnesota choosing to go back to the open side of the field. Double tackle by Iowa. And you got to respect the way that Iowa has been tackling and approaching things on defense, forcing Minnesota to really make decisions, bringing absolute carnage into these tackles. Release as the referee is now. Minnesota plays the ball back deeper, trying to unlock the space on the bottom. But look at the line speed from Iowa. They are not allowing any room for forward momentum for this Minnesota side, continuing to press and press, pushing Minnesota back. Billman goes to the boot. Maybe a bit of randomness can create opportunity. Ball knocked on. Great position. Great position to catch the ball. But absolute good defense by this Iowa side. The press and press and press. Push Minnesota back. Force to make decision on the kick. And now we'll have a scrum down.
And that was Diego Ramirez for Minnesota. A little bit of a box out, sealing the defense, or excuse me, the defense as they were retreating. He was in perfect position, had that one fall right into the basket, the bread basket, but just couldn't grip it enough to keep it alive, and gives Iowa another opportunity from their own end.
Scrum straight up. Players are losing their ability to hold their posture. And long arm penalty given for Minnesota. And those scrum penalties could yield greatness for this Minnesota side as balls seem to be hitting the ground more than they should. That ball is going to stay on the park as well. Taking the knee in order to grab it, twisting his hips to get a better angle. And the ball is kicked and whipped over, but Minnesota unable to gather it cleanly. The unforced errors seem to mount for this Minnesota side as they find themselves in a 19-point deficit. And they just can't seem to get the breaks that they deserve. As now Iowa has a great platform to attack inside of their 50.
Sometimes just doing your job, sending it back down the pitch, giving yourself an opportunity for the other team to make the mistake. That's what Iowa's done. They've started to clean things up a little bit, and now the forced pressure makes Minnesota cough it up. They're on the outside. I think that was Kyle Hoisington out of the Red River Ruffians that could not hang on to it. I saw the disgust there out of Billman as he will try to lead his team back for more action.
And the scrum, double penalty, two scrums, two penalties in Minnesota favor. They got to love their odds moving forward here. Billman, instead of taking the penalty to kick it, chooses to go to the boot after the quick tap. Pressure is put on for Iowa. The fake kick could have found himself space, grabs, breaks a tackle, and then returns fire on the kick. And great way to get the pressure away from Minnesota, from Iowa's own end.
This side of
You
half.
gotta love the way that
Inside
even
half.
when things doesn't seem to go right for Iowa, they
Inside
find a
great
way to
half.
relieve pressure, get their team defensively back in structure, give themselves a platform to try to stop any comeback from this Minnesotan side.
Yeah, that was great work under full pressure. I think that was Justin Johnson. Did a little dancing on the outside before sending it deep. And we're pinned in that end so close to the touchline to get a full 50 meters of relief is tremendous.
Ball played just to keep it open. Backflip again. And Iowa's doing anything possible to keep the ball active and ready for their side. Tackle made, but able to get the offload. Hand-to-hand passing here. As now Iowa plays to the open side. They might have a situation where they have an advantage on the top of your screen, but from the side, says the referee, and what could have been a great opportunity with mismatched personnel on the top side, as you see props trying to guard around the 15-meter line. From the side, says the referee, and now Minnesota gets a chance themselves to kick the ball into space, but choosing to go to the tap and going to those same big fellas around the 15-meter channel. They gain meterage, offload errant, hits the ground, unable to see who has the ball in this miraculous scramble. It looks like Iowa might have a chance to turn it over, and they do. With Minnesota getting an opportunity on the side entry penalty, losing the ball and committing a penalty on their own. Ball played into the ruck.
19, hands in.
And just like that, the back and forth battle continues. One team makes an amazing play, the other team makes some form of mistake. And now the kick out into touch, hits a branch on his way out. We'll have a line out here for Iowa, who are very happy with any time being wasted. We'll try to get an accurate time on the clock here, on our game clock here. But an amazing bit of back and forth action by both sides.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff there on the outside for Minnesota. Now they've got to be able to wipe that one clean from the memory and battle forward as they need another stop with 25 minutes left.
Release.
Iowa's choosing to play a more aggressive approach on attack. Out to back, paw through with the foot. This might be a foot race that Iowa will win. Re-kick, gathered inside the three. Cleanly gathered, no, said the referee. Knock on right on the doorstep. 1 meter away from the try line, just couldn't get a clean gather, and the pressure was real by this Minnesota defense here.
Again, great use of hands, and then look at that decision. The kick through from Johnson, finds some space on the outside to Kylan Johnson, who just lost it forward right there before he's able to dot it down. He knows what was happening. Good effort, though. He called for it again, and great work from this squad for Iowa to be able to find him on the outside. Almost got his second.
Yeah, he's become an option for them. They're trying to get the ball in his hands by any means necessary. Skip pass earlier got him his try, and the kick there when Iowa had far few ball carriers or attackers to the defense of Minnesota. Just a little poke through puts absolute pressure on Minnesota, and the pressure is still alive. Now they find themselves at the heel of their own try line. This could be calamity if they don't find a solid platform to get this ball off the park and away from their own try line. Choosing to go to the open, ball played on that right foot, unable to find touch, and a re-kick into the corner. He looks clearly offside, and the referee calls it just the same. As now Minnesota might have an opportunity to make the most of it.
Number 14 in front of the kick.
Yeah, I like the idea there, Lance, as Sunday knew he had space on the outside, had Powley out there, but Powley never retreated behind the kicker.
Ball hits the deck and just a few meters from a 50-22, unable to make it inside of that coveted space, but we will have a line out right outside the 22. Pressure continues to mount as both teams playing the tactical kicking game back and forth. We'll have a line out here.
And this is what you need from Minnesota. Force them down on their own end of the pitch, force them to make some mistakes and possibly get an easy try out of it. The defense has been good, but really good exit strategies that we've seen so far from Justin Johnson. Also seeing Sunday as well, giving the boot and relieving the pressure when they desperately need it.
Ball played down, and Iowa has a chance. Push back inside their own 22. No escape off the pitch here. But using that right foot to advance the ball. Takes a bounce, spiking towards the middle of the field. Gathered inside the 22, but returned outside. And how would they return fire? Looking for the option to kick. Chooses not to, just sets up a ruck. And now Minnesota, platform is set. They have to find points in quick succession here. And spinning and falling down right on that 5-meter line. Ball stolen by Iowa. And just when it seems like Minnesota might be going to attack, might be able to get some positive yields, Iowa shuts the door yet again. Ball put on the boot and off of the pitch right outside the 22-meter line.
Boy, what a kick to kind of get them into position there from Justin Johnson as well. The number 10 just put it into touch. But to get them into this position, they were backed up in their own end inside the 22, and somehow he was able to get enough under that kick to sky it over the top of the back of the defense, caught them napping, and completely flipped it. We've seen them do that a couple of times, and they are definitely winning the kicking battle at this point.
Timing's good.
Referee says fine as the pressure on the scrum half forces interception. One-handed catch and going to the boot. Iowa's able to resource back. The ball is returned straight to a Minnesotan who plays it to the open space. Iowa figuring out a way to shut the door inside, outside, but unable to escape. It's now Minnesota has found themselves on their half again and choosing to play out to the edge, forcing Iowa to make the tackle in an almost identical situation, which was a steal earlier, is now a penalty to Minnesota. Billman bringing the team forward. That ball almost knocked on. An amazing catch to keep it available. Ball not controlled in the ruck, but still played openly. Offsides advantage, says the referee. And Billman is going to need a massive ice bath because he has been running and hitting and absolutely carrying this tempo forward for this Minnesota side. Going to the boot, he might have space around the back. It is a free play for the penalty.
Scrum, 5-meter gray, played in by blue. Advantage gained.
But advantage played, says the referee, so we'll have a scrum down, ball kicked off of the park inside of the 5-meter line. And Minnesota, after all of that work, are on the doorstep. A try here to try to cut this deficit they're in. 20 minutes left.
Even Bielman's opponents giving him high fives there, showing how much they appreciate the open play that he's been presenting, but you got to give it up to Jacob Sunday again. That man back of the screen right there, number 11, came flying in from the angle with the boot, kicked it out into touch. Doesn't get him out of the woods completely, but still saves the try for Iowa.
Scrum seems to be settled. Advantage called for Minnesota. Another free play. Can they convert? Errant pass over the head, and Iowa seems to be pouncing on it. But we're going to go back to that scrum penalty. That's 3 scrum penalties in the last 6 scrums that have went Minnesota way. And for the scoreline to be what it is, and I told someone that, they will probably hardly believe it, as now Minnesota has a 5-meter penalty. Will they go to the line out? Will they go to the quick tap? Open play has to be the option here as they go to the forwards, giving the ball to one of the stronger runners on the field, the 8-man, whose name's been mentioned. Laponga, now Billman. Decisions to be made. Skips multiple players. Ball corralled in almost loosely. Defense had a chance to steal, but ball played from the wrong angle. And now again, another penalty. No high tackles since the warning, but a multitude of penalties against against Iowa. As now we have a crash that puts him inside the 5-meter line. The pick and go, barreling through, but unable to find his footing inside of the try zone. Another pick and another squashed opportunity. Minnesota is trying desperately, using their forwards to continue to press and bring the pressure to this Iowa side. Another pick and go, now going to the left. Penalty, says the referee. And this is going to be a stoppage of time and a card, as he's had enough of these penalties here.
Yeah, he pled with them, said no hands, tried to make sure that they didn't do the infraction, but they could not keep their hands off and got dinged for the penalty and possibly a card coming. Oh, they're lucky, Lance. No card there. Number 13, Gwynn, does not have to leave the pitch. And so Minnesota's going to have to do it the hard way.
Right outside the try line. Let this man work, and he goes in to score. The player who's been leading from the front of physicality, Lapunga, able to get 5 for his side, and that is going to be absolutely important as we're now reaching the inside of 20 minutes here. And conversion.
They put that kick, yeah.
They went quick on the conversion, so it's good. But walk us through this.
Yeah, just a full straight rumble. He knew what he was doing. He was the only person around that ball. Would have been a struggle for it if they had to recycle it. But a great job there from Sam Lapunga out of Metropolis, where he plays his club rugby. That brings him back into a 12-point match. Iowa has really looked like the better part for majority of this match, but Minnesota showing they've got the fight and the tenacity that it takes here in this plate final to possibly bring home some hardware.
12 points in 15 minutes separate us from the end of this matchup as Iowa puts the ball high, flying right outside the 22. He tries to score, able to get his hands on the ball and brings punishment early into this phase build-up as they have space on the outside. That is a penalty, and it might be treated as an intentional knock as far as going to the cards. We'll see how the referee plays it. Ball played back deep. Advantage over, says the referee. And now Minnesota with a break. The Cardiac men able to continue to push forward. Inside step, prodding, twisting, moving as Diego Ramirez gets dragged down right at the 5-meter line. And again, Minnesota choosing to go right into the heart of this Iowa team. Iowa fatigue starting to set in. The line speed isn't there, but again, another unforced error on Minnesota's part gives Iowa a chance to relief and maybe kick for territory here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were, as you mentioned, leading on the front foot, just pounding away time and time again. Now a penalty is going to be given here. Offsides against Iowa. And with 14 minutes left, down by 12, you mentioned it, they've got a huge opportunity. Beelman running the show again.
Plays the ball out wide, and Minnesota has space and a numbers advantage. Can they make the most of it? Swinging, twisting, pulling, not being able to go down. It's Durham. And again, Minnesota so close that they continue to build up an opportunity for Iowa. It looks like Maddie Davis was going to get the steal. Played all the way to the middle of the field just to have two massive collisions. Both teams are still bringing physicality as we reach the 67th minute. Ball played to the ground, scooped up cleanly. Can there be an offload? There will not, as Iowa find a way to corral the arms. Rolling away has to be the mission here. He's able to get away as now Minnesota sets up another forward-hitting pack. The impact of these collisions inspires me to continue to be a commentator and not a player as Minnesota moves back to the open side, 15-minute channel. Can they make something happen? And that ball being knocked on might result in a card. Just a normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill knock-on, but could have been way worse if Minnesota able to scrub down, and you can hear the Iowa coaches and sideline trying to pick the energy back up as they see Minnesota is not going quietly into the night.
That looked like Iowa might be able to come away with that one, or at worst get called for the intentional knock-on, but got both hands out there, got, I think, fingertips from both hands on it. So referee just left that one as a knock-on. But Beelman has been terrific. And how about that left-handed football pass, little Steve Young in him, to be able to keep things moving for Minnesota.
Anything to keep the ball in motion. Beelman looking for a chance to pick up, but ball is taken care of. No one is available to take care of that ruck. And Iowa able to get a turnover. And 9, Beelman unable to get back on side before playing the ball. We have a long arm penalty here. Hands in the ruck, and Iowa's going to choose to play the ball deep, play on the other half of the field as they try to get this clock to swing to 80 as soon as possible, or with at least no damage given up. You gotta love the way both these teams continue to fight.
Yeah, Minnesota is not going to give up in this one. Congrats to Iowa for finally getting a little bit of breath of fresh air here, sending that one out into touch. But again, penalty after penalty against Iowa. That was kind of a gift there from Minnesota. But Iowa's kind of on the edge, on the verge of possibly getting a yellow card. So again, critical moments here in this plate final.
2 shows and goals, and here we go, off into the running. That pass unable to reach hands, but Iowa still able to resource it. Ball played low and kicked, almost like it was on purpose. Perfect bounce, and instead of taking the immediate try, decides to dance just a little bit. But man, we spent 10 minutes on the sides, spends 5 minutes on the scoreboard. Jacob Sunday able to get those points, and that is exactly what Iowa needed to give themselves a breathing room as we get to the final 10 minutes of this match.
Look at this. They got 65 meters to go, but how about that burst from Arredondo? He set up the whole thing. Pass right here, a little bit awry, big collision. It's Minnesota giving everything they've got, but then the low pass and the chip up over the top. Enough speed to break away from his opposition, and then enough dancing skills just to break him down. Dart in, make that kick a little bit easier. That's at least 2, maybe even the 3rd try. And again, with 10 minutes in the bin, he has been phenomenal with what he's had out there.
Gotta love the way Iowa continues to try to strive to push forward. Had a lull and a little bit of time where they didn't have much going on when they needed points. They found them, and the ball was thrown low. I don't know if that was on purpose. The offload was just a little bit around the knees, an immediate kick. It seemed like it was perfectly set up, like they drew it up on the schoolyard. And right when they needed points, they got it. And Minnesota now finds themselves needing to double up their score line to tie this game as we reach the last 10 minutes of this match. And in the last 10 minutes of this Thunderbird Cup match, we got to give a big shout out, obviously, to the Soldier in Arms, Army of 2 here in the commentator's booth, but also Next Level Rugby bringing you this production here at Chicago Blaze Complex, Lamont, Illinois. And again, Minnesota's forced to hold on tight, making that tackle. Now Iowa has to play deep on their own end. And this is a moment where Minnesota can answer back quickly, and we'll be right back in the situation we were just recently, as Iowa choose to go to the boot. All played cleanly in the air. Look at the speed immediately. Like shot out of a rocket. One fin, and he's got the space to go. One-handed catch, isolated, and Beelman's able to recycle, always resourceful. Minnesota has now gotten to the Harlem Globetrotter style of playing. No need to set up, but keep the ball open and flowing. And space is behind on the far side of the field. Backwards, says the referee. Ball played the hand there. Inside step, inside step, inside step. Spin move, whatever it takes to get away, but unable to dodge the 5th defender. And now Beelman's able to reset. Thought he could catch someone napping, throwing it down near that A-gap. Ball's played out. And that ball seems to be loose in these rucks. It's because of issues in Minnesota. They have to shore that up in these last 8 minutes if they want a shot. Now Iowa makes the low tackles. The tackling from Iowa after that warning has been exemplary. So much they can be proud of on their discipline correction. Now Minnesota crashes through. Beelman walking to the ruck. He has been all over the field, all over the place. You gotta love the effort from this Minnesotan side. As the ball is lost in the tackle, Iowa choosing to go to the boot. No one home. And the pressure is on as Iowa kicks and forces the ball out. Able to recover the ball. Do they have enough people to secure this ruck? They do. As now Iowa with the numbers able to attack, and that is just ultimate hustle from this Iowa side. As the prize scorer from earlier gets another one, and I believe that's 3 on the day for Jacob. Happens to be his Sunday as he gets a hat trick in this plate final.
That time they did all the hard work for him. That's about the easiest try you're going to get out there as a winger. But you see they're able to flip the pitch. There's the kick again. Great work from Justin Johnson, really starting to put that more in the bag this weekend. And here comes Kylan Johnson, chases him down from behind. And the original kicker right there, Justin Johnson, is Johnny on the spot. He's still fighting for it, gets his team the ball back. That's the hard work, and here's the easy stuff. Nice little stroll in the park for Jacob Sunday, and he dots it down again. He's been tremendous. Again, only 70 minutes of total action in this match, but 3 tries to show for it, and he has been an absolute star here in this plate final.
Continuing to pour on the points, and now finally with that try, Iowa's going to take a breath of release. This conversion is up, and good, 41-17. And with each of these tries, Iowa gives themselves the breathing room they need. This man, this man Bielman continues to fight and push forward, but Kata can only do so much as Minnesota unable to overcome the small handling errors, just small bits that's really plagued them throughout this match. Iowa showing a level of hustle throughout this last 2 minutes and having handling errors of their own gives Minnesota a chance to set up an attack. And the scrums have been on Minnesota's side. It's tough to see how the game turned out the way it has with such a dominant push from this Minnesota scrum.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really saved Iowa, especially here in the second half, is Justin Johnson has done a whole lot more with the boot. We've seen clearance kicks that completely flip the pitch when they're pinned inside their 22. We saw earlier just the kicks up over the top, sending on the chases, getting things out in the other half of the pitch, and good things have been happening in the last 15 minutes.
Ball played out to Minnesota, running right at the heart of this Iowa side. Is anyone going to tackle this man? It took some effort, a valiant effort on the back end by Justin Johnson to bring the ball carrier down. Able to get his hands through, looking for the offload, but nothing's there. Going weak side, outnumbered on that wing. Can he keep the ball active long enough to get players around? He does. Bielman, 5 different Iowa players around and surrounding that ruck. There has to be space somewhere. Bielman pointing for the initial charge of his forward pack. They rumble inside of the 5-meter line. Again, initiating his forwards to go forward. Throws a dummy. Nothing there. Tackle made. Knock on given. And we're going to have a stop in the game here. Reaching for the card. And catch 22 is going to have to catch the last 4 minutes of this match on the sideline. It's Taylor Gass is going to have to take a seat. And Iowa will be down a player for the remainder of this match. Charging on the tap and go inside of the 5-meter and catching Iowa asleep. Minnesota goes immediately to the score, and you can see the energy. We gotta go, says Johnson as he gets those 5 points for his Minnesota side. Or excuse me,
that was actually
Anthony Farr.
Yeah. You see here, just caught, you mentioned it, caught him napping, was ready for it, looks up, saw that post defender was not looking at him, easily took it in for the try. Some power rugby from Minnesota. As they try to creep their way back into it. It might just be a little too much to overcome. 3 tries away here in less than 3 minutes. Big shout out to what Minnesota has done. They haven't given up. They've been able to keep the pressure on from Carter Bielman. That man right there for me, he's really been the MVP. Justin Johnson, he has done the hard work with the boot. And so many times we've had a little bit of ping pong back and forth with the kicks, but that back three for Iowa has been the better squad on the back line, and they have started to push this one open, still up by 19.
Ball played out from the center to the edge, and Minnesota is probably going to use this player advantage to try to cut into this lead. Inside, outside move, able to get away, but not from everyone as the tackle's made on the edge. And now that we're inside 2 minutes, now we're inside of 2 minutes, you gotta love the fact that Minnesota is still going to continue to fight and continue to work. Now we'll have a line out right around the 50-meter line.
Shout out to the inside center, number 12 for Iowa, Fine Vaea. He's been tremendous, had a couple of big line breaks, and that was an awesome tackle that pushed them out into touch and create the turnover ball. So the inside center has no tries to his name so far, but he's really been a standout in that back line.
And the option for the free kick, Billman is man on the spot, immediately tries to figure out how to go, prodding, pushing through, showing the dummy, and there might have been a legal hit there that gets Billman out of himself. He is upset at what just happened, and we might be looking at more cheese as Billman, who's been leading from the front, gets hurt, and now we have player antagonizing. Run us through this.
Yeah, it was Michael Witt, number 20, back for Iowa. You'll see him here. He gets low, makes the tackle, but a full dump. At that point, you've got to make sure you clean him up. Billman did not appreciate it. A little shove to the head. The referee will listen in here as he gives the card, and off the pitch goes Michael Witt. So 2 men down in the bin for Iowa, Lance.
It looked like he tried to catch him, though. He saw him lifted in a bad angle, and it looks like he tried to hold him and keep him from falling, but Billman definitely didn't appreciate it anyway. Goosey, goosey, goosey. Now he's trying to make the highlight reels. Inside, outside step. Ball flipped from the ground. Unable to be controlled by Minnesota. And with less than 30 seconds left in this match, Iowa gets the ball, but Minnesota rips it back out. The continued fight from this Minnesota side needs to be studied. These gentlemen continue to pour forward. Charge down kick, and the charging of this Iowa's defense is creating space, and now Minnesota's off. Break around the side. Can they get all the way in? They have the numbers, but corralling inside out defense from this Iowa side stops them as they get just inside the 22. The counter ruck is causing issues. Might be a little bit of extra pushing and shoving on the back end. We have our knock on. The referee looks at his watch. It might be just a little bit of time left. We might be looking at last play here. And there's no time left as the referee has indicated. This will be the last scrum of the game. And the last bit of play here in this Thunderbird Cup. Tim Wilkes on the play-by-play. What do you think of what we've seen throughout this entire weekend as we twinkle down to the last bit of time here in this plate final?
Oh, it's been terrific stuff. Shout out to the Midwest Rugby Union for having this tournament, for being able to get all these athletes the opportunity to show off what they can do, a chance to make the U23 Thunderbird squad later in the year. And right now for Minnesota, this is what it's all about. It's about the pride. It's about Billman fighting for everything he has, showing that he's never given up. It's been a tremendous display of rugby here this weekend.
And you can see the energy from both sides continues to pour in there. There's definitely a level of mutual respect here, and both teams continue to fight to the bitter end. Even the referee has brought even a little bit more energy into it to corral some of that improper energy that's found itself. Look at the push from this Minnesota side. They want it, and they're going to continue to go here with little time left to pick and go, running right at players, and to get the try. Doesn't change the outcome of the match, but definitely does do a little bit for on how serious it means to them as they try to go immediately to the kick. Drop kick with the left. It is up, no good. And there goes your final whistle as Iowa takes a 41-27 win over Minnesota in the Thunderbird Cup men's plate final. I am Lance Kavanaugh, joined in the booth by Tim Wilkes. This is a Next Level Rugby production. We thank, as Tim has issued to the Midwest Union, for holding this great competition here at Chicago Blaze Complex in Lamont, Illinois. We thank you for tuning in, and with that, we will see you next time in Midwest Rugby.
Tell me about your experience with RCT so far.
Well, I think my experience can be best described as really fun and community bonding because I meet so many new people playing the sport I love.
I wrestle and I play football, and there's nothing like rugby.
Yeah, everybody that I've ever met that tries rugby just comes to one practice has